Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod for the Bruckell Moonhawk that adds a MegaDonk configuration that you can choose. And the MegaDonk has 24-inch wheels, a lifted suspension, a sticker that says Thug Life, spelled L-Y-F for life, and a really purple interior. This thing is so purple, I think I would lose my sanity if I tried to drive using the interior camera. Not like I would have anyways, but I might have lost it. So we're going to go back to the orbit camera and go ahead and drive this thing around so you can see kind of how stable this thing is when you try to go around corners. And we can definitely flip this if we go around a corner fast enough, so I'm going to try to do that, but it's not exactly the easiest thing to do consistently. There we go. I did manage to do it though. And I think that little bit of dirt that we hit at the end did help it to flip over. So you can see it's not a stable vehicle by any means. That doesn't mean it's impossible to go around a corner though. This thing can actually go around a corner and not flip over as long as you don't go 50 miles per hour or so. Over 50 miles per hour or so. You can't be like, WhyBeAre said 50, so I could go around this corner at 60. No, 60 would make it worse. It's like going around that at 30 miles per hour. Kept the wheels mostly on the ground, a little bit of lift here and there because it is such a bouncy suspension, but I didn't have any fear of the vehicle tipping over and rolling over there at all. But here, we're going to be going, maybe 60 miles per hour because I need to slow down a little bit. So this thing will definitely be willing to roll. There we go. And upright. And since the way I rolled was just smoothly onto the roof, the suspension should be totally fine after that. Yep, just damage to the visuals, it seems like. Perfect. Maybe the tiniest bit of a pull to the left. So we'll keep driving this again and get it up to a real high speed and then roll it once more because rolling donks is fun. So 90 miles per hour is what I'm going to push it to. I think it'll get there. Yeah. Hey, if it's still accelerating this fast, let's keep going. Maybe up to 100? Can it do 100? There's downhill. 100, and then we're going to go right turn. Rolling it. And I think the suspension has been damaged that time. And I'm certain it has been. Can still put power down. Can't quite steer though. You know, the purple and the green though actually looks kind of nice together. I didn't consider that until right now, but those two colors go well. Anyway, let's go ahead and reset this thing and drive it where we don't tip it over. Just for a little bit because, yes, this is a tipping machine, but that doesn't mean you're going to tip around every single corner. So to prove that you can actually drive it without tipping. There we go. Well, okay, maybe not without tipping. I should say you can do it without flipping. Tipping, yeah, that's going to happen unless you go very slow around the corners. Flipping, you can actually control because you can kind of counter steer when you start to get up on two wheels and make sure it doesn't flip over. And you can even kind of get it bouncing from left to right wheels if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. Like right there, I had a little bit of a bounce, nothing crazy. You kind of saw I went up on two wheels, then went up on the other two just for a fraction of a second. And sometimes you can actually slide this thing like that and it doesn't flip over. That's surprising when it does that. Like I never expect it to do that. Like I always think it's going to tip over when you start doing that, but it's okay. The smoother the road, the less likely it is to tip. Like right here, nice smooth road. It's actually not wanting to tip over. Then you hit a little bit of a bump in the road and suspension's bouncing all over the place and you gotta roll it. I mean, you don't have to, but what do you, hate fun or something? I think you gotta roll it. And unfortunately that did damage the suspension, so I'll bring it back. And now how about we try off-roading this thing? I mean, donks, not made for off-roading, but we could try it. It actually went over those rocks and boxes, no problem. That's impressive. I thought I would get stuck there almost certainly. All right, here, this is not going to go well. I'm going to try to take it down this on this section, which is totally unsafe, just to see what happens. And no. That is not going to happen. So we'll just bring it back and try going off-roading over here where we don't have a cliff we have to try to go over. So off-roading with the donk, though, is actually totally doable. It's going to bounce all over the place, as you're seeing right here, because the suspension is so stiff. But you notice that the car's not getting damaged on things mostly just because of the way it's landing and stuff until it hit a tree. I mean, a real dedicated off-roader would have flipped over there too, so I can't blame the donk. It was doing a fine job until I threw it into the tree. Or is that more of a bush? I don't know. Either way, I threw it into the thing and then it got flipped over. Trying to avoid all the bushes, that's kind of hard. Like, you gotta swerve left and right, left and right. Let's try to keep up that speed. But as you see, 40 miles per hour through the dirt. Can control it enough not to hit a boulder that I just drove by a second ago. And I'm not flipping over. So I say that is a success. For a car that is never really intended to do something like this, it is doing an excellent job here. And it even managed to get itself upright after that. I thought I was going to roll again. Nah, Donk's like, nope, we're good, dude. We can keep going. Let's drive all the way to the road, and then that will conclude the off-roading. And then we could do some fun things. So there is the road, and how about going over those rocks? It actually cleared them pretty smoothly. Like, it kind of just bounced over them by coincidence, I think, but that was impressive. Anyways, we're going to bring it back to, well, that's not spawn. Back to spawn, and we're going to change some parts out here. So first off, the suspension, we have the MegaDonk suspension. You don't actually need the donk suspension for those wheels, though. In fact, it looks kind of nice when you throw on the race suspension parts with these wheels. I mean, they're big wheels, but they fill out the vehicle pretty well with the race parts. So I'll just let you see that once all the parts are on it. Takes me a second to do this. We probably only technically need the racing springs. The problem is when you have just the racing springs, it kind of is weird to drive because the shocks and the brakes and stuff just don't match the springs. I mean, you could technically do it though. And then you know what else we could do actually? We could lower this even more. So we'll go ride height as low as it can go. And there we go. It looks like a totally different vehicle now. And it should be much, much, much more stable. Like, this thing should have no issues at all of tipping. Because it's basically a race car. And race cars don't usually tip over. Even if I go in the corner of the dirt like that, it didn't have any issues of tipping. The weird thing, though, is these tires, they are rubber bands that are running at like 60 PSI. So they don't have much grip at all because their PSI is just so large. Or the pressure is so high, I guess is the proper thing to say. And you tap on the brakes like that and whoops. So you know what we could do though? We could change out more parts. See, now we have a very reasonable engine. Well, what if we had the stage 2 supercharger that makes like 1,000 horsepower? You could totally do that. To compensate, we'll put in the manual transmission so I can at least kind of control it a little bit. And then we're also going to go to the... Where is it? Oh, tire pressure, and we're going to lower it a bit. We're going to lower it down to like 30-ish. I'm not going to be too precise on that. And then we'll see what that does to the vehicle's abilities. Thinking we could, wow! Manual transmission mode, okay, third gear. Third gear and it spins the wheels. Fourth gear. Fourth gear. It still spins the wheels in fourth gear even. I mean, that makes sense with this much power and these terrible, terrible tires that would happen, but it's kind of crazy. 100 miles per hour, we could spin these wheels. And this thing feels very unstable to drive at the moment. Coolant's overheating, so let's just floor it. I cannot control this at all. And there goes a tire. And there goes some fire. My poor donk. It's on fire. So how about this then? What if we went back to the donk suspension and then we put the big engine in it? That should be the most deadly vehicle you could possibly drive because all it wants to do is flip over. Transmission, we'll leave it with the 3-speed automatic. Why not? Gonna put it to arcade mode and away we go. Interesting. It's actually not swerving all over the place as I floor it. At least not as badly as I was expecting. Now, let's see. Going around any sort of corner is a disaster because I'm trying not to flip over basically while staying on the road. And staying on the road is second priority to not flipping over. That's how crazy that thing is to drive. I gotta try that one more time. So we're gonna go. Coolant overheats, doesn't matter. Just bouncing all over the place once you get moving though. I'm scared to do it, but here we go. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Wait, smoothed out, smoothed out. We got some control. Jiggling, jiggling, jiggling. Nope, we're good, we're good. We got control of this thing. 148, 150 miles per hour in the donk. This is totally unsafe. Here's a corner. The natural enemy of my car. I could have told you that wouldn't have worked. Oh wait, it worked. We are now driving on the wall. Because nothing can stop it. Except for the connecting rod bearings becoming damaged. That can definitely stop it. Right. Now let's try some crash testing with this. So I want to see if we bring the MegaDonk and crash it into a lowered version of the Moonhawk, will the lowered one get more damage than the MegaDonk, or will the MegaDonk not really have any advantage at all? I really think the MegaDonk would have an advantage here, but the only way to know for certain is to do some testing and find out. And just to make sure we have the exact same car except for the suspension, we're going to spawn up 2 MegaDonks, and then we're going to modify one of them to be the lowered version. So we'll grab the front suspension, or the rear suspension I mean, because that's the one I clicked accidentally. Change out the springs and the shocks. I don't need to change the brakes, I guess, because brakes don't have any effect on the height. Then on the front, we got to change it out to the regular suspension, because when you have MegaDonk, you can only have MegaDonk parts. So we'll put race on the front, race on the rear, race on the front springs, and race on the front sway bars. And then for extra lowness, we could also put on smaller tires and wheels, which will make it even lower. So this thing is going to be as low as we could possibly go while still having a basically drivable vehicle. For ride height, lower it as much as we can go. And there we go. That thing is set, and that is a low sitting car. For the MegaDonk, I don't think there's anything we could do to make it even higher. This is like as high as it'll go, I'm pretty sure. But we'll double check. Nothing related to ride height there, so we'll leave it like that. And for the crash, we're going to have one stationary, one not. Because I want to see if we could actually kind of jam a car under another one. And I think it'd be easier to do that if one of them is stationary. So just 35 miles per hour. And yeah, you really did jam it under the other car. Like the front bumper on that one was untouched. And then on the MegaDonk, the front bumper got all of the damage. On this one, the hood got the damage. Pretty cool. How about this? MegaDonk going into the other car. Pretty sure it'll have basically the same outcome, but testing is the only way to be certain. And this one will up the speed a bunch. MegaDonk, how fast you going? Alright, so it's gonna probably be like, what? What was that, MegaDonk? I just like calling it MegaDonk. It's a fun name to say. Anyways. We're gonna do this at maybe 70 miles per hour? Or so? Yeah, about 70. And it went up on it! It actually went up on it! And once again, the hood on that one ruined. The regular bumper on this one ruined. Hood on it, not too terribly damaged. Alright, so since we're here, I got one last test we'll do, and then that'll be it for the MegaDonk. How will it perform on a suspension test? Obviously, the answer is going to be absolutely awful. But how? Absolutely awful is the question. 50 miles per hour, and whoa! I can't even keep this thing on the suspension test! Oh, you are awful at that. Anyways, I think that will do it. So until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.